This one's for the Chicago PD fans. Ever since Jay Halstead's departure early in season 10, everyone's been pretty devastated. But good thing that's not the last time we heard from Jesse, because the actor's coming back later this season to direct episode 16, and we couldn't be more excited. In this video, we'll talk about Jesse Lee Soffer's behind-the-scenes return and everything we know about his episode. So stay tuned. First off, Soffer's returning to Chicago PD as a director. Alright, this isn't a false alarm, and we know you're still pretty heartbroken over Jay leaving, and would rather want him back at the unit instead of behind the camera, but at least we've got our Jesse crumbs, right? For the first time in the show's 10-season long run, we'll see the show continue without Jesse, who's been incredibly central to the show. So saying we were shocked to see him leave the show would be an understatement. NBC has been a long-time home for the actor, and it must have been bittersweet to leave behind a place that gave him stardom and memories for a lifetime. Perhaps that's why there's still some sort of magnetic pull left between him and the show. While it's common for actors to direct an episode or two from their shows, we don't really see people who have left their series and taken their positions behind the camera just a couple of episodes after their departure. But we're glad Jesse dropped by on set, because it's kind of hard to imagine how the season will shape up to be now that his character has been written out of the show. Sure, the show must go on, but does it have to without Jesse? Should we sign a petition to bring him back? Or do we just ask some science guys to clone him so that Jay and Haley can be together forever and ever? Okay, we might have gone overboard with the last one, but we're still pretty excited Jesse is going to direct the 16th episode of the latest season, up next. So what's the episode going to be about? When Variety first told us we were getting a Jay special, we almost couldn't believe our ears. It actually took one of the members of our team to perform breathing exercises so they'd stop hyperventilating over it. After crying ourselves to sleep and revisiting every moment the detective spent in Windy City, this news came in like a warm, comforting hug. If he can't be in the drama, then he'll just be behind the drama. And honestly, we'll take it. As we mentioned earlier, something's better than nothing, and this is definitely something we'll gladly accept. Now, coming on to what the episode will be like, there's not much information about the nitty-gritty details of how the story will shape up to be like when we reach that point in the show. The showrunners are notorious for not dropping hints, which is why Soffer's departure hit us like a ton of bricks. Considering everyone's been tight-lipped about the episode 2, we can only guess what'll happen. While our math may be a little off here, but if season 10 also follows the regular airing schedule of the show, then we can expect Jesse's episode to air around March if things go according to plan. We're still pretty bummed about what happened to season 8 because of production challenges in the pandemic, but that was necessary, and we're glad NBC has now restored to a regular rollout. So yeah, might as well place your bets now, guys. Are we looking at a tribute episode for Detective Halstead, or will it be something completely out of the blue? Coming up, how's everyone adjusting to Jay's departure from the show? If we sum up how we're adjusting to this change, then we're pretty much still in denial, and it's going to take a while for us to walk through the 5 stages of grief. But seeing how the cast and crew can't take a break to nurse our hearts, it looks like season 10's still bringing up Jesse's alter ego on screen to keep his memory alive. Okay, fine, we know he's not dead, and he very much left the show alive and well-ish, but tell that to Upton, who's mourning her loss like Halstead died on duty. Instead of wailing and expressing her longing for her husband, Upton has buried herself in work as a distraction, which is quite in line with what we've seen in the past. The writers and the cast of the show are used to people leaving the show, since Soffer's the 4th person to step away. Over the years, the show has bid farewell to Sophia Bush, Elias Koteas, and John Seda, who have been fan favorites since their debuts. But since the cameras never stop rolling, the storylines have ultimately found their pace even after certain characters ended their stories. One thing that we're really preying on right now is if we see a little cameo by Jesse during his episode as a surprise for his fans, which honestly seems very unlikely now that we've said this out loud, but hey, don't stop believing. morning. As we wait for Soffer's episode to air, catch up with the latest on Chicago PD that airs on Wednesday at 10 p.m. ET, only on NBC. While we're on the subject, let's talk about another star from the show's lineup. Sean O'Neill looks way too familiar. Here's where you've seen him before. First up, Jefferson was once a part of Shondaverse. If you're picturing the dude in a white coat yelling at Boki to hand him a scalpel, then we're gonna stop you right there and let you know that no, he wasn't on Grey's Anatomy. While the idea of him as a cardiothoracic surgeon on the show probably sounds too good to be true, White was, in fact, in another incarnation of Shonda Rhimes' mind. We remember How to Get Away with Murder as one of Viola Davis's best performances, but Jefferson's cameo in season 2 was just as memorable. He joined the show for a multi-episode narrative and played the role of Philip, who's a troubled young man, and crosses paths with the famed attorney and law professor Annalise Keating. While we won't get into much detail about the show, in case you've not seen it, all we can tell you right now is to drop everything and go binge the show on Netflix. It'll blow your minds, and so will Jefferson's convincing acting chops. Following up, we've also seen White on Yellowstone. Picturing him as a cowboy might jog your memory a little, because in this cowboy-lovin' show, White played the role of dim-witted Dutton ranch hand Jimmy Herdstrom. And it still amazes us how he went from a low-level criminal to this wholesome, heart of a gold kinda cowboy. The series isn't just limited to yodels and yeehaws. In fact, it's a thrilling mix of murder, mayhem, politics, and of course, loads and loads of bull riding. Kevin Costner's brainchild has gained so much critical acclaim over the course of the show that people find Jefferson's portrayal of Jimmy incredibly convincing. So after we had our doubts about his character considering his arc in season 4, imagine our sighs of relief when we found out that he's indeed coming back for season 5 soon. Phew, we really can't handle more characters leaving our favorite shows now. What's more, you've probably seen him bald in God's Country 2. After he found his footing on the small screen, White then tried his luck on the big screen and delved into the indie film scene. Critically adored by Rotten Tomatoes, God's Country is a thriller in which Jefferson plays the role of a hunter who tries to trespass on a college professor's property. His character is a hot-headed yet soft-spoken man, so it's interesting to see how the dynamic plays out on screen when you watch the movie. While the hunters seem like the bad guys, White's portrayal of Samuel has you rooting for him, because at least he's not as bad as the rest. Sam might be a 180-degree opposite of Jimmy Herdstrom, but Jeff's equally brilliant in both roles, so you might want to check this one out too. Finally, Jefferson even guest starred in House of Cards before. By now, it seems like the Chicago PD actors are tailored for villainous roles. In House of Cards, he played Joshua Masterson, who's responsible for kidnapping and torturing an innocent family. White's character was one of the many forays of House of Cards into political realism, considering the backstory of the character. Even though Joshua's technically not a real person, his story is a parallel to many college students who have often been recruited to join many extremist organizations. This was a key building block in the development of White's character, and as we saw him play this terrifying character, it just further affirmed our belief that Sean O'Neill's certainly going to amp up Chicago PD's new season by a landslide. And that's a wrap for this video. Are you excited to see Jesse's magic from behind the camera? Do you think he can come back to the show as Jay anytime soon? Let us know what you think in the comments section down below. As always, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more awesome videos like this. Until next time, see you soon.